Okay, we'll start with module 4. It's about Selenium WebDriver introduction. So let's start Eclipse. So in this chapter we'll learn how to create a project which is going to include the libraries of Selenium, and it's going to help, these libraries are going to help us automate a web browser. So earlier we have seen already how we can record and play using Mozilla Firefox extension, that Selenium ID. But now we'll write certain code so that we don't need to record anything. We'll write the code and it'll automate the browser. Okay, so let's start. So we're going to create a new project first. New, earlier we used to create the new Java project. Now we're going to create a different project that's called a Maven project. Okay, so click on other, type Maven, click on Maven project, click next. So in Maven project there are three parts. One is a group, one is version, and one is artifact. Okay, so these things will be clear once we start writing some Maven, creating some more Maven projects. For now, let's uh, let's click on this. Click a simple project. Skip archetype selection. Just check this one and click on next. Over here, it is going to ask for group, artifact, and version. Version is automatically selected. Version value is automatically entered, so we don't need to change that. We can enter the group as com.selenium. Artifact is example1, and packaging we can keep it the default one, jar. So these are all optional parameters. If you don't want to give, it's fine. We can go and click on finish. So now what is going to happen? Maven is a plugin. Maven is a plugin, or it's a different software itself. What it does is it creates a project for us. It creates a project and helps us to import some of the libraries or some of the Java projects which are already created and which are available on internet. So we want to take the benefit of Selenium libraries that are already created. So when we create a Maven project, and if you tell Maven to bring all the softwares or all the jar files or the Java code that was already developed by Selenium to be included in our project, then we can enter the dependency or the group, artifact, and version information of that project. So every Java project which is available in Maven repository that we can use, it includes three different parameters, three different fields: the group, version, and artifact. So the new project that we created right now is over here, example1. You can see there are two symbols, M and J. J for Java, it's a Java project. M for a Maven project. So this project is capable of downloading the softwares which are already created, or the Java classes or the Java archives, jar files which are already created and present in internet. This project is capable of doing that, and this is a Java project. So we can write our Java code and Eclipse is going to run them, is going to compile and run them for us. There are four folders or four source folders are automatically created. So we'll be writing our code in source/main/Java. All our Java code will go over here. And if we need any property file, any XML file, or any file that is non-Java file, which doesn't have a Java extension, but a Java code is going to need those files, then we're going to keep them in resources folder. For time being, just forget about these two folders. So we'll be mostly concentrating on source, main, and Java. Okay, as I have told you already that Selenium software is already available on market. So we're going to take benefit of that so that we can write certain code which is going to automate the browser for us. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to download that Selenium software into our project, or we need to link our project to that Selenium software. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this pom.xml file. This is the main setting file, or this is the main configuration file which says what are the different libraries available in market which our project is going to use. So our project has not yet told anything, like our project has not needed anything till now. But right now I'm going to tell our project, just go and download the Selenium libraries which are available in market so that I can use them. So open the pom.xml, double click on that, then you will see such a window. So on the bottom there are certain tabs available. By default, overview is selected. Go to the last one, that's pom.xml. It's the XML structure. Okay, that is basically the configuration of our project. So we are looking at this one right now. So you can see this project, it just contains the information about itself. It says I'm having the group as com.selenium and the artifact is example1 and the version is 001 snapshot. Fine. Then what we need is we need to include a new software. We need to include a new Selenium project that is already created. So what we need to do is we need to basically give certain information. We need to give the group, artifact and version of that Selenium project. So there is a repository, or there is a software, we can say it's a software repository. It's a location which stores all these information, which has information of all these open source projects. Selenium is an open source project. So we're going to go to that Maven repository and copy the information related to Selenium. Okay, before going there, this is a project, right? This is a Java project, and this Java project basically depends on Selenium library. So we're going to add certain things which are basically called as a dependency. So we're going to write dependencies. The first tab is dependencies, and within that dependencies we are going to add certain more dependencies. So this tab will contain all the softwares, all the libraries that we need to include. Right now we need to include Selenium dependency. So we're going to go to Maven repository and search for Selenium. Then we'll copy paste that dependency information over here, right? So let's go to our browser. In Google we're going to search for Selenium Maven repository or Selenium Maven dependency. Fine, click on this. It will open up this one. Just go to mbnrepository.com, and it is the repository, it is the storehouse of all the open source softwares which are available in Java. It contains the group, artifact and version information. It's basically an address, GAV, group, artifact and version. It's an address to a specific software in market. So what we're going to go or do right now, we're going to copy the information from this site. Click on this. Over here we can see this is Selenium Java. Okay, Selenium automates a browser, etc., etc. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on this, and within that we can find this is the latest version 3.4.x. This is the version, right? So you can find the three information, version, and once we click on the latest version 3.4.0, you can see these are the information which we need. The group, artifact and version. These are the three information which we need. So what we need to do is we need to just click and copy all this information. So initially if you click on this, the information is automatically copied. Otherwise you can right click and click on copy. Once it is copied, we'll go back to our project in Eclipse and paste that over here. Right click, paste. And this is not formatted, use Ctrl Shift and F. Ctrl Shift and F shortcut, so it will be automatically formatted. Now you can see there is one dependency added. This dependency is having the group as org.selenium.seleniumsq.selenium, and the artifact is Selenium Java, and the version is 3.4.0. This is a comment in XML which starts with angular bracket, an exclamatory and two hyphen. So this is basically the information from which location we have downloaded this dependency. Till now, if you look at this project structure, it says all the libraries which are needed to run the project. By default, the Java runtime environment is there. So all the files, like the dependent files of the Java, are already included. But we are going to include a new library, a new dependency, that's called a Selenium dependency. So when we save, when we press Ctrl S, or when we right click and save over here, then you can look at the bottom over here, it is going to download certain jar files for us. So right click and click on save. So over here you can see building the workspace. If we go into that, it is going to tell us that it is downloading these jar files from our software repository or from the Maven repository. Basically what is happening, it is going online and downloading the files, and after downloading those files, it is going to attach those jar files or attach those Java files, Java projects which are created earlier into our project, into this example 1 project. So it will take some time initially, and once it has downloaded the jar files, yes, now it has downloaded the jar files, and you can see over here the Maven dependencies, a new dependency is added, a new library is added, that's called as Maven dependencies. So if we expand these, we'll see there are lots of softwares, Selenium Java, Common Exec, SSC, Hamcray. So all these jar files are automatically included. Now the question is, I have just included Selenium Java, but what are these things? See, like we are creating a project, example 1. Similarly, the Selenium Java project was already created, right? And that Java project, it depended on some other jar files. And indirectly, these jar files are including some more jar files. So once we include a parent jar file, all the dependent jar files will automatically be downloaded and imported or automatically linked to our project. So we don't need to worry about that. All we need to care about is adding the dependency, the proper dependency with the proper version. So now we have the jar, all the required jar files or the software required for our project ready and imported in our Java project. So let's, okay, there is one problem. This exclamatory, it says that there is a build path problem, or there is some problem with the project which is not allowing us to compile our code. We have not yet written any code, but still there is some problem with the project. So let's look at the project, what this problem is. Click on this icon, this is called markers. So once this is a problems tab, okay, over here we can see the errors. Okay, there are lots of errors available. So initially the Maven project, they used to give such problems. Okay, don't worry, what we need to do is we need to update the Maven project. Right click on the project, go to Maven, update project. Okay, so the project is selected, force update snapshots, and click on OK. Okay, seems like the problem is gone now. You can see there is no red mark or nothing. Now we are ready and we can start writing the code. Okay, so this example 1 is going to help us start a browser and navigate to a URL and perform certain tasks. So initially we are just going to start the browser and navigate to a URL. For that we are going to create a new Java file. So what we need to do, we need to create a new Java file, and always remember the Java files, they must go into source main/Java folder. So right click on that, click on new and the Java class. Now we need to give the package name, that's already there, we don't need to give anything else. Name of the class, let's give example 1. Okay, click on finish. Done, we have the class. This is the default constructor which is automatically created. We don't need this, let's delete this. If we want to execute this file, we need to have a main method. Main control space, Eclipse is going to automatically complete that for us, and double click on this. Now the main method is ready. So let's check if our project is running properly or not. We are going to write a sysout. I am working fine. Save. Let's run the code. Right click, run as Java application. So yeah, it's working fine. It has given the output on console. Fine. Now we need to write certain code over here which is going to help us open a browser and navigate to a URL. For that we need to go to Selenium. We need to go to Selenium and use some of the classes which are already created in the Selenium library. If you remember, we have already added the dependency of Selenium, and those jar files are already included in our project. So we can take some of the classes from this. To open a browser, what we need to do is we need to tell Selenium open this specific browser. Say for example, if you want Selenium to open a Firefox browser, we'll tell Selenium to open a Firefox browser. Similarly, if you want a Chrome browser, we'll create a Chrome browser. So for that, we have a class WebDriver. This is an interface actually, and just remember we need to import this WebDriver from org.openqa.selenium. Okay, this is the only one that we have, WebDriver. And once I double click on that, you can see on the top it is automatically imported. And if you want to see, this class or this interface is basically coming from one of these jar files that we have downloaded right now, Selenium Java. Okay, fine. So now we have a reference. So we have taken the WebDriver type, and we're going to give it a reference name driver equals to. Now we want to create a new Firefox window. We want to create a new Firefox browser. New Firefox driver. Control space. Zoom in. So over here you can see this is the Firefox driver. So if we create the class of Firefox driver, it will open a Firefox window for us. Now the Firefox window is ready. So the first thing what we're doing is step 1, that is create the driver object. This is the driver. It resembles to a browser in the real world. So this is resembles a browser. So now we have created a Firefox driver. That means we have created a Firefox window. The next thing that we need to do is we need to go to, or we need to navigate to a specific URL in that window. So what we need to do? We need to navigate to a URL. Before that, let me do one thing. Let's print a line. It's just a message that the driver is ready. So once this line is complete, my code is going to display the driver is ready. So which type of driver is it? It's a Firefox driver. The Firefox driver is ready. Okay, now we're going to write the step 2. In step 2, what we're going to do? We're going to navigate to a URL. Navigate to a URL. To do that, we need to have a URL first. String URL equals to, this is a string value. We need to have a URL. So for example, I want to navigate to seleniumhq.org. So Selenium HQ. This is the website of Selenium. Sorry. Okay, this is the website of Selenium. Fine. So I need to navigate to this URL. So when we need to navigate to a URL, what we need to do? First, we need to open that URL on the browser. Then we need to copy that. Right click, copy, and we need to go back to our class, Java class, and we are going to save this. Fine. Now the URL is ready. Next thing that we need to do is, see, this is the browser. This is the virtual browser for us. The new Firefox driver that we have created, it basically resembles to a Firefox window or to a Firefox browser. So what we need to do is we need to tell the browser, hey browser, navigate to seleniumhq.org. So we already know where we need to navigate. Now we need to tell to the browser. We need to tell the browser. The browser is this one, the driver. So we need to do what we need to do. We need to copy this driver and paste over here. We're going to call a method on that driver. Driver dot. So let's see what are the methods available. So these are many methods available in the driver class, Firefox driver class. So we're going to call a specific method, driver dot get. This method is going to help us navigate to a specific URL. So what we're going to do, driver.get, we're calling this method and passing an argument, that's the URL. So it is going to navigate to that URL. After that, let's print a message, sysout, I am at URL and the value of URL. Fine. Till now we have done okay. After that, I want my browser to be open for some 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So for that, we can use a sleep command which is available in Java in the thread class, thread.sleep. So if I say 2000, that is 2000 milliseconds, see it is asking for milliseconds. 2000 milliseconds is actually 2 seconds. So I have waited for 2 seconds over here. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to quit the browser. I'm going to close the browser. Okay. So before that, I just let me say I'm done. I am done closing the browser window. Fine. After that, what I need to do, I'm going to tell the browser. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the reference of the driver or the virtual Firefox window. So this is the driver. Copy this one, paste over here. Driver dot quit is a method which is going to quit the driver, quit the browser that was open. And now you can see there is some red line over here. This is a compilation error, and it actually throws some exception. So this is a compile time exception, or what we need to do right now, we need to handle this exception. Either we can use a try catch block or we can throw this exception. So let's do one thing, let's throw the exception. Click on throws declaration. Fine. Now you can check the main method. It is throwing interrupted exception. Fine. So now here we are. We have written the code, and the code is basically what it is doing. It is basically opening a new driver. There's a new browser. There's a Firefox driver. Once the driver is ready, it is preparing the URL, and it's asking the driver to navigate. You calling the get method. It is navigating to the URL. Once it is in the URL, it is waiting for 2 seconds. So what happens when the code navigates, or when the code starts Java starts executing our code, it will go line by line. Once this line is done, then it will come to this line. So when it executes this line says that don't go to the next line. So wait for 2 seconds, and once the 2-second timer is complete, then start executing the next line. So over here the code will wait. It won't stop, it will basically wait for that much amount of time. So we have said just wait for 2 seconds. So after waiting for 2 seconds, we'll be able to, so when it is waiting for 2 seconds, at that point of time, we'll be able to see this URL is basically this URL is open on the browser, on the driver. Fine. So after 2 seconds, what it is doing, it is quitting the driver, it is closing the Firefox window. So let's save the code. So let's save the code and let's restore this. Let's open the console, and once we are when we are running the code, at that point of time we can check the console. Okay, what type of output, like what are the different messages it is printing. So I'm going to restore. So let's make it a little smaller. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, so it has given us some exception. Let's see what exception is this. It says the path, okay, this is the exception, right? This is an exception, java.lang.illegal state exception. It says the path to the driver executable must be set by the WebDriver.Gecko.driver system property. So what happened actually, earlier Selenium was directly supported by Firefox. So we don't need to have a different driver to help Selenium open the Firefox window. See, there are 3 things now. The Selenium software that we have imported, it has the capability to open a Firefox window, right? So earlier Selenium was able to directly tell to the system, hey system, open a Firefox window. But now what has happened with Firefox 51 version and above, it needs a third-party driver that's called as the Gecko driver. This is the Gecko driver. So Selenium is going to communicate with the Gecko driver. That's again another software system which we need to have in our system. So when Selenium tells Gecko driver, I need a Firefox window, Gecko driver is going to open that for us, right? So Selenium to Gecko driver to Firefox. And what Selenium needs is we need to tell Selenium where our Gecko driver is present. So this is the property which we need to set, so that Selenium will look for this property's value and open a Firefox window. So let's do one thing, let's copy this property, right click, copy, and let's tell Selenium where our Gecko driver is present. Till now I have not told you how to download and install the Gecko driver. That's a one-time activity, we'll do that. But before that, let's tell Selenium how to download and set up the Gecko driver. To set an environment variable Basically what happens, Selenium looks into the environment or the system environment variable. If you remember, we have already set Java path, or we have set in some softwares we have set Java underscore home. Similarly, there is another property which Selenium needs, that's called Selenium dot sorry WebDriver dot Gecko dot driver. We need to set these to the system environment. To do that, we need to call system dot set property. Okay, so let's look at the method sets the system property indicated by the specified key. So it is having a key and a value. So we're going to call this method, and the key is going to be the key that Selenium has asked us for. So the Gecko driver key, and over here we need to have an exe file for Windows, sh or some executable file for Mac and Linux systems. So over here we're going to tell where this Gecko driver is present. This is a one-time activity for the entire software. So all the Firefox driver, when we try to create a new Firefox driver, what it does, it checks for this property and its value. So we're going to tell where this Gecko driver.executable file is located. Okay, we don't have the Gecko driver right now. So what we need to do, we need to search for this Gecko driver. Then we can download that and we can store that in our system, and over here we can give the path where this Gecko driver is present. To do that, we're going to search for Gecko driver over here. Otherwise we can go into this download section of Selenium HQ and let's find for Gecko. Okay, here it says Mozilla Gecko driver, the latest version is 0.18.0. So let's click on this one, and it has taken to a GitHub page. Over here okay, it will say which all versions are supported Firefox, and basically which are the Firefox version which supports. Support is best in Firefox 54 and greater. Fine, so we'll check which Firefox version we have. So to check the version of Firefox, in the menu go to help, click on about. Okay, it will be a little different in other systems, but we need to go to about Firefox. It says it is 47.0.1. So basically the Gecko driver will not work over here, so we need to download the latest Firefox, that is 55.4. This is the MB. So this is the Firefox that we have right now. Okay, anyways, let it download the updates, but in the meantime let's try our code. Let's see what error it basically is throwing. So this is the Firefox version 47.01. This is the latest version. One sec, we need to check. Anyways, let's update the Firefox to the latest version, which is already happening in the background. So over you can see the Firefox is getting downloaded, so it will take some 1 or 2 minutes. Once the Firefox is ready, then we can start using it. So in the meantime, let's download the Gecko driver, the latest Gecko driver. So where we can download, over here it says clone or download. Let's click on that. Okay, it's the GitHub code. What we need is Gecko driver.exe. Okay, here we don't have the direct link to Gecko driver.exe. We can go back to our Selenium page. Over here it says 0.18.0. We can click on this. Okay, here it is, and okay, here we can find the download section. Okay, the latest one 0.18 one second, 0.18.0, and over here we have the download section. So we need to download it for the specific OS that we are running. For me, I'm running Mac OS, so I'll be downloading this one. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to click on this. So I have downloaded the file, so it's downloading by the way. So let it download, and yes, in the meantime the Firefox is has downloaded the latest updates. We need to restart the Firefox to update. Click on restart, and Firefox has downloaded, is updated to the latest version. So let's go to about Firefox. It says it's the version 5401. Okay, so the Firefox version is 5401, and Gecko driver supports this one, and it says Firefox is up to date. Fine, so now we have the Firefox ready. The next thing that we are going to do is we need to the download for Gecko driver is also ready. What we are going to do right now is I'm moving this Gecko driver onto my desktop, and I'm going to, it will be a zip package or zip file. What we need to do is we need to unzip the file. So I have unzipped the file, and you can see there is this black thing which is available. So what I need to do is I need to take the location. In Windows, right click on the file and go to the bottom. You'll have the properties section in which you can find the location where this file is present. So in Mac, I am basically going with the info, and where this is the location, I'm going to copy this one, copy. So what I need to do, once you copy the location, what we need to do is we need to paste that over here. On desktop the file is present, but which file is it? So we need to tell the name of the file. So right click, okay, give a / forward/ and copy the name. Okay, right click and rename, copy the name. Okay, copy, and we're going to paste it over here. Fine. So this is the location to my Gecko driver, and this is the key, or this is the property name which we need to set. Once that is done, we can save the file, and let's run it again. Before running it, let me okay, now it's restored. We don't need to have the Mozilla earlier, it's not mandatory. If you have it, it's not creating any problem. I'm going to quit everything, and then I'm going to run the code. Right click, run as Java application. Let's look at the console, and yes, it has given some output, and you can see the new Firefox window has opened, and it has navigated to Selenium HQ. It has waited for 2 seconds, then it says I'm done, and closing the browser window. So while running the code, you might face certain problem that this file is not accessible, or some sort of permission related information. So if you face that, just right click on the file, go to properties in Windows or info in Linux or Mac, and check the properties or check the permission it is having. So for me, I'm having the permission. Okay, sharing and permission window. Over here it says anyone can basically read it. Okay, I'm the same user, so I can read and write. So it's accessible for me. If it is not accessible, you need to make it accessible by changing the permission. So now if we look at the console, so let's do one thing, let's look at this console. So when I started the code, when I tried to create a new Firefox window, these are the information. The Java code is communicating with the Gecko driver, and the Gecko driver is basically now trying to open a Firefox window. So it is opening this Firefox window. Fine. So once it has opened the Firefox window, now it says the Firefox driver is ready. This is our sysout that we have given. So let's look at the code. This line, it doesn't have any output. It has just set the location where the Gecko driver is, so that when we call this new Firefox driver, it is going to go to this key and check for the value, and it'll basically go to this location and start a Firefox window. It'll ask Gecko driver to create a Firefox driver for it. So now Gecko driver has created a Firefox. So this line is complete, and it has printed the next line, that is the Firefox driver is ready. Next line, it opens a new URL. I'm creating a new variable string URL, and I'm calling driver.get. It basically navigates to the URL. So then it says I'm at URL this one. So when it tries to navigate to this URL, just look at here, it is printing certain logs. These logs are not necessary as of now. So we can go ahead and once the URL, see here is the URL which it wants to open. Once the URL is open, I'm saying I'm at the URL, and after 2 seconds I'm saying I'm done, closing the browser window. So this is the thing which is printed, and after 2 seconds this is printed, and then I'm quitting the browser. So once I say quit the browser, you can check the Firefox is no more present, it is gone. Similarly in Windows, the same thing is going to happen. You won't see a Firefox window after you call quit. If you have opened any other Firefox earlier, it is going to be there. The Firefox browser or the Chrome browser, the IE browser, any type of browser that we have created is going to be destroyed. Okay, the remaining other browsers, they are going to be same. This is how basically we create a Firefox driver or any type of operating system browser driver, and after that driver is ready, okay, or after that browser is open, we can access, we can call certain methods. We can say, hey browser, go to this URL. Okay, so we can keep on doing that. So I'm at URL this one. Suppose I want to navigate to a different URL. After 2 seconds, I want to navigate to a different URL. So this is the command, this is the get method which I need to call. So now let's call sysout navigating to Google. So over here I need to go to Google. So basically over here I'm going to pass the URL of Google. How to do that? Let's go to google.com and let's copy this URL. This is the URL, right click, copy, and let's paste that over here. Navigating to Google. So after going to Google, navigating to Google, let's wait for 3 seconds. Then after 3 seconds, it says I'm done, closing the browser. So we can see we have, like, now we are going to run the first it is going to navigate to Selenium HQ. After that it is going to navigate to Google. So in that we'll have 2 seconds difference. After navigating to Google, it's going to wait for 3 seconds. After that it is going to print I'm done, closing the browser. So let's save the code and let's run the code. Right click, run as Java application. So over here you can see a new Firefox is getting open, and the Firefox is now open. It is navigating to Selenium HQ, and after 2 seconds it is automatically navigating to google.com. Fine. So this is how a new, now we have understood how to create a new Maven project, how to add the Selenium dependency, and how to like basically set the system environment variable or the system property, that is the Gecko driver property, how to download the Gecko driver, how to update the Firefox to the latest version, and we need to check in the Gecko driver page if this Firefox browser that we are having is supported by the Gecko driver or not. So when we check that, it said that it is going to run better on 54 and above. We have 54.1, so it ran properly. There was no issue. Then we have created a new Firefox driver using this new Firefox driver constructor. This is the dummy constructor that we are calling, and we are calling the method driver.get so that we are navigating to a specific URL. So I can use thread.sleep as many times as we want. So it is going to wait for 2 seconds. Over here it waited for 3 seconds. So I'm printing certain commands, and it is mandatory to quit the driver after the execution is complete. So after doing everything, we have done driver.quit. So this ensures that the driver, the Firefox browser or the browser that we want to run our test cases on, that we want to automate, it is going to be killed or it is going to be quit after the program execution is complete. Hope this has cleared your doubts. If you have any doubts, just let me know. We'll have a discussion.